I'm in the kitchen and I already heard that, oh, that coffee, that first thing in the morning.
That's right.
If you want something to put Dawn in a good mood, first thing in the morning and that first sip of coffee.
Yeah, that pretty much always does it. Yeah.
Good morning. You guys have got your chicken again.
Johnny's so dedicated to getting his robots in order that he was switching out the 3D prints at 4 a.m. this morning. He was very quiet, but I did know that he was out there. I woke up at one time and the backyard light was on. I told him as long as I knew he was going out in the middle of the night in advance, then we were cool. I wouldn't wake up alarmed. He's snoozing now though. It's going to be really hot here the next few days. Low 90s to mid 90s. Heat index is near 100. Hot. It's going to be hot. I'm just trying to decide where I want to dump the cat water bowl. Every morning, before I refresh their water, it gets dumped onto one of my plants, so I don't waste the water. It gets cat water and then it's plant water. Noticing this out the kitchen window, the Rosa Sharon. Very pretty. These late blooms. Really been enjoying it. We won't talk about the rose bush to my left, which I guess I'm going to have to cut down now because it's pretty much a goner. Must have been that blight because it sure wasn't lack of rain. It's been there for a long time.
Good morning, Panther. Hi, bud.
Good morning. You can hear the insects in the woods this morning. And somebody mowing off in the distance. I had a breeze or two come around that felt good, but mostly it's pretty calm out there and getting hotter by the minute. Panther, he just waits patiently for me by the door. He's such a good boy. I've seen the hummingbirds come up. I don't know if they can actually get the nectar off of the geranium or not, but they are attracted to the red color, and I've seen them come up here looking. The storm the other night killed the blooms on the canna lilies, although I do see one new bloom opening up today. Hopefully there's a few more to open because the hummers were really liking that.
Gray Gray? There you are. Good morning. Hi. Hi, honey. Uh-oh. You got two bowls again. Let's get those out of here. Hi.
Good morning, sweet girl.
Here, you come eat. Do good. Okay. Good morning.
Is your car back to normal, Donnie?
Yeah, it's funny how you get used to how things feel when you drive your normal roads. And coming up that hill, I could feel it pulling from the rear, or pushing. I could actually feel it was driving from the rear and versus the front. Remember, it was like the funny front end, but now I could tell because of that. I'm so attuned to that feel it made up that hill, and now that it's pulling from the rear again, it felt different again.
So look, I screwed up because I don't know. I didn't understand, okay? I admit it. I can admit when I don't understand. I said motor, but it's inverter. So please explain to them what they actually fixed and fix the way I misspoke about things.
I spoke to Drew and he said they just replaced the inverter, not the motor.
But then I asked you, well, what's the difference between an inverter and a motor for those of us that don't know?
Right. Well, the inverter converts the battery voltage, the DC voltage from the battery to three-phase alternating current to drive the motor. Changes the frequency in the current and the duration and all that. That's what makes the motor spin.
So we haven't had a motor failure.
Have not. The motor did. If I understood what Drew was explaining to me, he said they literally lower it down just enough to unhook the cables from the inverter so they can get at it, and then they just pull the inverter off because this is electronic
from up top
from the side of the drive unit, put the new inverter back in there, and then raise it back up. They don't have to. It's just quicker to do that than to drop the entire thing. If you drop the entire thing, it's very easy to get it to everything.
The entire battery.
Yeah, the entire drive unit. You undo the suspension and that rear clip, that super casting or whatever the hell that is. You just that whole they don't do that. They unbolt the drive unit, bolts to the casting, and it bolts the suspension and everything. Anyway, the point is they don't have to undo all that. They can just let it down a little bit to replace the inverter, and that's what they did. Hence, that's why we got it.
They had the part.
They had the part.
Maybe us dropping it off for the overnight crew, maybe, we don't know for sure, had a little to do with it.
Right. Now, the only
and it wasn't as big a repair, labor-wise, as we might would have thought it was, I guess.
The other part that I didn't quite understand, Drew said this was kind of an unusual failure. He said this is not the typical isolation thing. So I'm taking that as a positive because, as I said, there's like a long list of things that can cause isolation failures. The fact that there's actually a circuit board, that's way better. The worst ones are wires that rub and things like that. Those are very difficult to debug. I mean, if you can literally measure something on the inverter and says, oh, the resistance is wrong on the inverter, and you replace the inverter and fix that problem, that's a good thing.
Okay, well, I think I understand better, and hopefully everybody listening, watching, understands better too. And it was all covered under warranty, and they fixed whatever they thought was wrong with the air conditioner. It feels nice and cool. Well, it was never not cooling us, but sometimes it blew hot air before it cooled us, I think is my recollection of what was going on. It seemed a little confused, but they spotted, we didn't report that problem. They just knew about it and fixed it, or that was a recall thing, or I don't know, but anyway, that's fixed too.
And he did say they've changed the sensors. He said these early Model Ys used a different high and low pressure sensor. So he said that air conditioning thing was more common.
Right, and/or it could have been, I guess, part of a recall, or just when they have the cars in, they're doing preventative stuff. I don't know. But anyway, the air conditioner feels plenty cool this morning, and that's good.
That's right.
Well, there was a town guy out here with the utilities doing some marking out in the street. There's a Dominion Energy truck guy floating around. The town guy, we asked him, he says a lot of times they don't know why they're doing what they're doing. They just make sure the town stuff's not in the way of whatever's happening. But it's like they're going to move a pole or two over there, replace some older equipment and move a couple poles around, which is pretty much what we'd figured, and probably has to do with that new property house where the power runs over the usable part of that land. So it'll have us going around or going through the neighborhood when they're doing it, I'm sure. Maybe it won't take as long as too long, I don't know. But the poles they're going to move are really complicated poles. They're not like your simple one to the low voltage to the house, you know, single service stuff. This is like right there by the high power lines, and there's a lot of wires up there, and that ain't going to get moved in a day.
Right, well, I guess the thing is, what I keep going back to, it's kind of weird that it splits off, it goes, and it comes back.
Yeah.
And I suspect that across that lot, that property, they've got the big line out at the street. So anyway, I guess what I'm saying is, I'm still thinking they're going to straighten out the kink here in this one, and they're going to run that one house to it, and get rid of that extra line that actually is the one that always gets hit by trees for us. So I think it's a good thing for us.
Right, it could end up being a good thing.
Because that smaller, the lines out into the street, I don't know how tall those poles are. Let's say they're 70-foot poles. The other ones are your standard height of your standard power poles, what, 30 feet, 40 feet max? So those shorter poles get pine limbs and stuff hit them. Whereas the big poles, the pine libs, you know, there are some that can get it, but a lot of the stuff, the wires are up higher than the trees. Now those skinny pine trees, you know, those suckers go 90 feet, you know, they're really tall. But a lot of the oaks and other things don't get quite that tall. So I think it'll improve the reliability a little bit using the, plus they keep the waterway clear, the tree limbs cutting down, they keep them well away from those the best they can.
It's going on 10:30. Don's got a conference call. We are getting ready to go around the track for the first time. On this one, I don't think Don expects to be doing a lot of talking. There's actually 2 back-to-back conference calls. You know, noise up here around the track can be problematic. Mostly the vehicles at the street, but probably the kids having fun at the splash pad this time of year also. If Don needs to exit the track early and start down the trail, I'll just finish my lap and follow him and understand that he's just going where it's quieter. I've been running my mouth and lots of other things this morning that have caused us to be, you know, a little bit later than would have been optimal probably. So today's agenda is, Don's got these conference calls. We got to load up the GMC. We've decided we're taking Ruby too. Really, we probably could fit everything in the GMC if we didn't need a third person in the vehicle. And obviously, all 3 of us going is important here. So, thus Ruby. So if there's not a lot in Ruby, I won't be surprised because we'll have the whole middle row. I'll let Don decide if he's opening up the mid gate or not. I thought no, that way laundry baskets on the seat won't slide around. But I'll let him decide what he thinks best, how he'd like to do it. 'Cause he's kind of owns getting everything packed and not moving, not shifting on the drive, whatever. And robotics. I'm sure Johnny's still trying to do some last minute stuff. It seems like he's probably going to want to come home Labor Day weekend, which is the weekend before the robotics event, and get his robotics stuff and finish up any last minute touches on the robotics, and we'll see. All the robotic stuff hedges on it's not interfering with school and what his schoolwork is. He's going to need to tell me, no, I have too much homework, I can't afford to come home that weekend, I've got to use it as catch up. Or, yeah, I'm good, I can do stuff in the car, I can afford the time. He'll have to sort that out. And when we get back to the house, I'm gonna prep dinner. We're having cheese stuffed chicken breast. That's like Johnny's favorite. Make bacon, make the house smell good. Yesterday was important. We got, you know, things handled. Guardian Angel, Michelle, Taekwondo. There's about 10 other little things at the house I'd like to have time to do with Johnny that we're not going to have time for. Like I wanted to help him make this cool Lego sign for his dorm room door. I'm sending the stuff with him, but I'm not. We didn't have time to do it in advance. He wants to put robot stickers on his robot bins. So when he's moving them in and out of the dorm room, A, it looks cool, and B, more importantly, people know what it is. We're not going to get that done in advance, I don't think. And, you know, there's just other little stuff that could be done. I think we're supposed to go do something else about his student blue health care that I need to ask him about that today. Oh, and lastly, so tomorrow they threw at us this kickoff event at 10, and I guess move into the dorm is between 12 and 5, and then they really want parents out of there at 5. So I'm not sure if I'm going to leave in Ruby before Dawn leaves to get him down there by 10, or all of us together leave. I haven't decided yet. And I also need to understand, I think that's optional, but I don't know for sure. You know, where is it on campus relative to his dorm? It's probably over there in the engineering buildings, which is way the heck away from the dorm. And I have, you know, just a minor concern about leaving a ton of stuff in the car unattended for an hour or two. It's probably fine, you know, there's campus security and cameras and all that stuff, but it is an open access campus, so I don't know. These are the things we have to decide. Have to decide these things. Well, if you're keeping track, I fell forward again this morning, smashed my right knee, twisted my left ankle, and hit both palms on the ground. Stupid me, went to pick up a piece of trash in the grassy area down by ball field 3, the one I'm walking past now, and there was a hole that you couldn't see because of, you know, grass, and my ankle went in it, and yep, thankfully, obviously, I'm still walking okay on my ankle, so after the initial, oh, that didn't feel so good, I seem to be fine. That's all we don't need, right, is me not able to walk on move-in day. It's nothing a little Tylenol or Excedrin can't fix. I won't be pulling any stilt grass today. I've got all the tender muscles I can handle from what we've done this week. I'm sure my knee will be bruised, so mental note that that bruise came from me falling again. But we're not keeping track, right? It's dang on sneakers that get caught in all the holes. Hey, Donnie! It's a nice jigsaw puzzle.
Yeah, well, we got, we'll make do. We'll get her done.
Yep, we'll get her done. But I agree with you. I don't see any way just the GMC, so.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean we don't need to be efficient, though, because we aren't taking more than the GMC and Ruby.
No, we're not taking more than that.
Well, right now, we might be able to just take the GMC. Don's going to disassemble that. You know, it didn't come from Walmart that way. I bought it at Guardian Angel together, but somebody put it together. And there's room for 3 people right now. So there's a couple more things in the house, but not a lot. So Don's gonna have just enough room to steer the vehicle. And we're gonna be packed in like sardines, but I guess we fit it.
If you wanted to go in one car, so you know.
Yeah, I did.
He doesn't like, you know, us all being.
Well, that way when I'm crying when we leave tomorrow, you don't have to worry.
Say that.
You don't have to worry about me driving by myself. I'd rather have company tomorrow. Johnny and I did good with packing the stuff up in the containers, right? So Johnny's big monitor's been packed up. Don found this little one to use, which is fine. And when he's not taking his desktop because he's got that, you know, really nice laptop now that does everything he needs. He can do the graphic design on it and everything. But the other monitor, we took it down because he's going to use that clamp that was on the table here at school on the big monitor. And anyway, temporary stuff going on here. Johnny wanted to take his current comforter and sheet, so the Star Wars one I got and the new sheet that matches this pillowcase. Everything's cleaned and washed and put on the bed. That pillow there is Midnight's pillow.
There we go. Well, it is moving, definitely moving. That's more than it's ever moved. Fantastic.
Just remember, I carried it by myself up at the store and out to the car and into the house. And well, maybe Johnny carried it into the house, but I carried it to the front door.
Well, let me tell you that I don't want to carry it any further than I just did.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So Johnny's made learning process with his robot. The motor got so hot it melted part of the chassis, and he's thinking about what to do about that. Donna and I made bacon together. And I got the cheese stuffed chicken breasts prepped. I've cleaned the fish tank and all 3 cat water water fountains in the house. I started doing things I didn't need to do today because I'm got so much nervous energy. So I really don't intend to get lost in this, but let's see what's in it. I need something to do for a few minutes. Let's just leave it there. You know, the thing that's really got my curiosity is, why do they have a base plate? Is there some modular building that I might be like over the moon about in this bin? Probably not, but maybe. I am ready. This is Wally Says Hi. This is the ant weight robot with the new weapon. This is the one that did so good at the last competition. Johnny's very excited about how the weapon is performing. It is a self-riding robot. Oh, wow, Johnny, it's looking good.
It's currently got reverse drive.
So he's just tearing up an old Wally Says Hi chassis. Looks good, Johnny. Looks really good. That weapon is amazing.
Look at all the bites and damage it's doing.
Yep, it's really shredding things, knocking them for a loop.
I mean, it's...
And not knocking itself up while it's knocking other stuff up. So that's really...
Okay.
Really pretty amazing.
This actually revealed a small... I actually revealed a small error of my own by making... When I put a fillet here... When I put the fillet here, which is really hard to see. When this fillet... When I put that in, I didn't fill it inside, and so there wasn't enough material. So a big enough hit can actually separate this, apparently. Good to know!
So when you go to print the next chassis, you'll...
And I have plenty of weight for it. So, yeah.
I'm excited about this robot. This one will be the Saturday fight, right? Mm-hmm. That's just his controller beeping when it powers down or times out, or...
It's just a, it's just a lets you know it's still on sort of thing.
Sure. I'm excited about this robot. Really excited. And Donna and I will be printing Johnny spare parts. We've got training. We haven't swapped the filament, but I'm sure we can handle it. So, I'm maybe a fourth to a third of the way through the bin. Mostly looking at all the big pieces, which gives me an idea of what was in there. There's lots of little plates. There's a lot of the amusement park rides. The roller coaster, but no roller coaster track, of course. I don't know what happens to the track when people pack stuff up. This really large ship, which I'm thinking this and this are probably part of it. The instructions for the ship are here. That gives you a little idea of what it would look like. So I'm sure I can put that back together. There's a Bellevue set. This huge honking horse in this weird color. And this figure are really Lego pieces, and they go with that Bellevue thing. I thought this might mean there was Scooby-Doo something in there, but I see no signs of that. I am super excited about this, although there's only book 1, but that's okay. I think bags 3, 5, and 6 go with the barn. The barn was never completed. But there's a lot more of that color, that pink, in the bin, so maybe all those pieces are here. And of course I have another hot dog truck and another, this is the house I put together a few weeks ago, but I don't know that I see all the rest of it here, so not sure. Lots of minifigures and a couple other little sets. There's an elves set in here. The dragon goes with that. I've seen one of the minifigures, one of the dolls, that's an elf. It has, they have like Vulcan ears. I'm looking to see if I can spot it. So this minifigure. So I'm sure between the dragon and her, I can probably piece back together what that elf set was. Anyway, you can see there's a lot more of that. I don't remember the official color for this. Magenta, cranberry. It's not cranberry. But anyway, I think there's a lot more of the barn in here. I just need to fish out those pieces and try to resurrect it. There was some imposter Lego. But it's Mega Blocks, and it's an American Girl set or 2 And so I'm probably am going to take that back up there. But I'm going to hand it to one of the ladies and tell them not to mix it back in with my Lego bin, because I've already sorted it out one time. Put $10 on it and mark it what it is and sell it like that. Anyway, like I said, I am packing up. I am done. I'm fixing to put in the cheese stuffed chicken breasts we're going to eat around 7. And this helped me relax and was fun. And I've done enough for tonight.